Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, featuring day 1 vs 1 on Langreskaya. Yes, indeed, Langreskaya. We shall be watching Condemnationwing fighting for the Wehrmacht for the 23rd Panzer Division, going up against Siberian of the 153rd Mechanized Brigade. It's going to be a match from CoH2's Langreskaya tournament to celebrate the addition of this map to CoH2.org. Not CoH2.org, but CoH2, but curse you, site for having the almost similar name to the game. Curse you. Either way, should be a good one. Both players are good veterans. And we're seeing Siberian rushing straight towards the center here, setting up some barbed wire to cover up the cover right here. Oh ho ho, the wit, the pun, I think. Grenadiers popping out first here for Condemnationwing. Conscripts then going to follow up, act to secure some territory. Clearly this is a bit of a disruption move from Siberian, trying to sort of throw his opponent off the game by going very close to his territory where initially one might figure you'd be safe. Psychological warfare is also part of warfare, and that, since trying to disrupt your opponent's game mentally can give you a slight advantage if you know how to utilize it. Pioneers are rushing into the other farm building. Conscripts moving up here. Grenadiers look like they're moving up on the right flank. And we're immediately seeing here that Siberian is moving on, going straight for the cutoff point right here, keeping the Pioneers occupied with the combat engineer squad. Clever. Another conscript squad arriving there for Siberian. MG42 moving in, but will he be able to save the strategic point here in time? Of course, noting here though that while Siberian is pushing on pretty aggressively, doing some damage and all that, he's not actually making a lot of territorial gains, and that's rather the slight problem his strategy currently involves. He's able to, disrupt his opponent, try to take away territory from him, but he's not exactly gaining a lot either. So Siberian must be confident he can do enough damage, enough disruption, and hopefully also take some territory at the same time to make it worth it. Otherwise, I mean, he might end up actually just wasting a lot of time. So it's a bit of a gamble right here initially from Siberian within the first few minutes of the game, and already one of the machine gunners go down. Conscripts roaring up, managed to make it into cover just in time. That was bleeding close. Then again they get suppressed. And a Molotov up straight on the MG42, bursting the crew into flames. Grenadiers also dying. This is not look good. Oh dear, the MG42s quickly go down. Condemnationwing will have to pull back his MG42 crew quickly, but no, he loses it. A brilliant victory right there for Siberian, wiping out an MG42 crew within the first minutes of the match. And just note the Grenadiers are continuing to take heavy losses to the Molotov. The conscripts are on a roll, and they have yet to suffer a single loss. Oh, never mind then. Yuri went down, then Boris. More conscripts are rushing in to support this, but already this is looking a bit grim for Condemnationwing. Has already lost so much within the first few minutes of the game. Grenadier squad closer going down as well. Pioneers rushing in, might try and secure the MG42, but this is bad. Another MG... Nope, that's actually the one recruiter. Thought he might already build another one. And, oh, he lost the Pioneer squad. And he didn't get the MG42 back either. This is what you call a pretty rough start. It's an absolute massacre of German soldiers right here. Bodies everywhere. And Siberian going to lock down this area with his MG42 he just stole from the fascists. This is definitely not going the way of the Wehrmacht. And now we are seeing that Siberian is actually making some territorial gains. That is good. About time, I would say. But looks like Condemnationwing is going to shift things about a bit, realizing he's not going to be gaining much from just pushing down here. So that's a good move, the mark of a good player, not just bashing his head into a wall as some lesser players might do, more inexperienced. He's instead going to shift up, see if he can't apply some pressure elsewhere and draw away forces from the front line before them pushing in. So that is good. Das ist gut. No taking up, MG42 up. Needs to be careful though if he gets suppressed by the Siberian's MG42 though, and gets pinned for that matter. It's going to be pretty much pointless.
Forces are securing our territory.
So far looking good, and there we go, making lovely progress up the west flank. Pioneers on the way. And there we go, coming under fire from the MG42. Conscript score were the bait here. And Conscript going to hit the other flank mark, try and get off a Molotov. And there we go, light machine guns up for one of the Grenadier squads, going to increase the firepower. Wunderbar, wunderbar. And there we go, neatly dropping a few conscripts. MG42 they're pulling back out of the range of the other MG42. Whoops. And the conscripts right here are caught in a bit of a twist, as heavy machine gun fire is being leveled against them. And there we go, west part is now open to Condemnation wings. He's taking away territory, and like will soon be drawing away Siberian here from the front line as well. But good progress is being made. Taking up also going on. No structures as yet for Siberian. Oh, the Molotov went off, and some poor bastard burst into flames. These Grenadiers though will soon need some sort of first aid. Their condition could be considerably better than it is.
We've added to the fatherland.
So go there, attacking the west flank. That's going to draw away Siberian from the centre, and everyone going to force him to react here. We're also noting Jaeger armor. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this doctrine, but let's see if Condemnation wings can actually do anything with it. Certainly not something I'd recommend to novices. Grenadiers here versus the conscripts. In the meanwhile, Condemnation wings taking advantage. Oh, the Grenadiers are getting caught out in the open, the ones with the low health. Now we go immediately run off. Conscripts ooh-ahhing up, but getting stopped by the MG42. They might get off a Molotov though in time, and yes indeed, forcing away Condemnation's wings. MG42 Grenadiers also fighting here, but getting overwhelmed. Siberian pushing in hard with as many conscripts and Guards infantry now being sent in to support the effort as well. No light machine guns for them yet, but even then they're going to be quite troublesome. Another Molotov, but flies a bit too high.
The Russians are attacking!
And once more, Condemnation wings and the 23rd Panzer Division find themselves a bit pushed off. Grenadiers reinforcing. It looks like a medic bunker is going to be set up there. That could definitely pay off considering the condition of his troops.
The enemy has broken our supply lines. The enemy is attempting to steal
More
our sector.
schweres MG42 fire. And there we go, like to Mechanized Company. Wunderbar, wunderbar. Siberian going for all the vital points first before mopping up the rest. Ensuring, basically going, well, it can't, you know,
Our territory.
get it fast enough to that way, you know, quickly cut off the resource to the opponent. But on the other hand, if he goes for the cut-off points, he can at least that way deny the resources. And of course, the strategic points are much faster secured. So of course, that's one way of doing it. Then of course, you can take the points nice and peacefully afterwards. And a half-track on the way. Mittlere Schützenpanzerwagen.
Grenadiers ready. The enemy hit us in their sights!
Condemnation wings a bit penned in, but looks like he's managing all across. And there we go, half-track ready. Could be he might upgrade with flame thrust, but considering the amount of munitions he has, I think he's just going to use to support his troops, ensure they don't have to retreat as much, which can actually be just as beneficial. And we are noting he's immediately moving on to get 2 scout cars. Now that's definitely interesting, and can also be, if well handled, quite powerful. So the 2 scout cars, when unupgraded, are certainly quite useful, mobile, swift and deadly. And the Special Rifle Command is up for Siberian in return, and we're seeing a scout car of his own.
We are ready! Taking service!
Of course, the half-track itself is currently pretty rubbish in combat with his machine guns, which is quite sad. Can still do a bit, but it's never very effective. Siberian pushing up here, but running into more trouble than he likely had expected. Half-track needs to get away. Anti-tank rifles are tearing through the less than thick armor.
Are securing our territory. Reconnaissance flight
And there we go, the scout car with comment. He is pushing up here through the centre. Going to be a bit difficult for him to slow down unless it gets off. No, can't get off the armour piercing incendiary rounds. Though we do see the scout car rolling in, doing its best, and of course, even unupgraded, it can do alright against Soviet scout cars. And the guards infantry looking to be coming under a bit of fire here from the grenadiers with the machine guns, but also the scout cars machine guns. And there we go, the guards infantry are taking a bit of a shooting there.
Grenadiers standing by.
Conscript squad going to move up, and we are seeing guards rifle combined ups up from Siberian, the ever classic guards rifle combined arms, giving some machine guns hit the dirt, and guards infantry and a light machine gun left behind
To steal our sector.
for the soldiers of the Reich to secure. Siberian though continuing to enjoy the advantage, and enough he's perhaps not doing as much with it as he could. I am rather noticing there are no mines being put down by him, which I definitely think is a bit of a shame. He's in particular against the scout cars, that could prove to be quite advantageous. They've got MT-42 going to get flanked very soon by the scout cars. There we go. And the MT-42 crew is definitely going to be in a bit of trouble. The two machine guns just tearing through the MT-42 gunners, and Siberian is not pulling it back, at least not in time by the looks of it. That could very well be cleared out. Yes, indeed. No. Oh, very close, very close. Will the MU-42 gunner make it out of there? Yes, it will. Siberian did not pursue. I mean, Condemnationwing did not pursue. Silly me. Popping over to Siberian with his guards rifle combined arms. 4 squads of conscripts, 3 of them upgraded, and of course the guards riflemen. Nothing else going on. He's got plenty of fuel and manpower, so he could consider taking up now. Currently, a attempt either for some assault guns or tanks could work out quite handily.
Supplies to the enemy.
And this is lighting on fire. And there we go, guards rifling the scout car. Always wonderful combination. And can pretty much deal with any light vehicle. So that's going to be rather dangerous for Condemnationwing if he wants to handle. On the other hand, 2 scout cars might have a chance, even unupgraded. And there we go, he's actually exposing the rear and side armour, which could actually be to the advantage of the scout cars. Very close, very close. Both of them have infantry 1, which also gives them the ability, of course, to spot enemy infantry from farther away. And there we go, the scout car actually gets cleared out. The crew is dead. The scout car is abandoned. And the half-track is in a pretty terrible condition. In the meanwhile, the guards infantry are pinned to the ground. Another scout car on the way for Siberian and the Mechanized brigade. And an anti-tank grenade sends the half-track careening out of control and straight into the side of the farmhouse by the looks of it. Pioneers, meanwhile, being churned to bits. And this scout car could be secured here by Condemnation wings and used for the glory of the Reich. And meanwhile, looks like the scout cars are awaiting repairs. And a second scout. Oh, it got wrecked. What a shame, what a shame. Would have liked to have seen that in use. Another half-track arriving. Condemnation wings and the 23rd Panzer Division being quite fond of the half-track, of course, allowing them to keep up presence as it allows them to reinforce the front line, meaning that he doesn't have to pull back his troops for reinforcement, which is always quite handy. And a pack is up as well. Half-track, though, quickly getting covered in anti-tank grenades, rather limiting a lot of what it can do. MG42 from a nearby farmhouse opens up. Western flank also being slowly unraveled by a very depleted squad of conscripts. Still no further structures up for Siberian. And a fresh squad of pioneers. There's a bit of a high turnover rate amongst those.
We have incoming! Scout car under fire!
Bold push from Condemnation wings going towards the vital resource on the left flank. Response from Siberian is interesting. Doesn't seem to bother with it. At least not with the scout car. In fact, he's going straight into the jugular of... Oh! Armor-piercing rounds just shredded the thing, killing the Guards infantry squad as well. That was just glorious. Vanishing in a fireball. That was quite vicious. And of course, a risk when you charge in like that. Certainly, I imagine Siberian was quite aware of that, but felt that it was worth it. But now he's short one scout car and one Guards infantry squad.
We are ready to build it or blow it.
Still no mines from Siberian. Again, something I find myself missing a bit from him.
Why are they shooting at us?
And there we go, he's finally laying down some mines, but at the same time he's being spotted while doing so, which rather limits the overall effectiveness of the mine when the enemy actually knows it's there. So unless that Condemnation Wing suffers from a case of issues with his short-term memory, that really shouldn't be a problem.
Ready, taking anti-personnel fire.
Conscripts charging straight into the line of fire of the scout cars and the half-track, taking quite a bit of damage, reaching Veteran 2, hitting the dirt, which of course provides slight cover, but ultimately with that much machine gun fire being directed against them, it's not going to cut it fully. And there we go, suffering quite grievously. Still retaining most of the map for the time being. I do believe it's time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is Siberian leading in terms of territory by just a bit, though we are seeing here that Condemnationwing is very close in, and he's certainly got quite the force as well. More mechanized, motorized if you will, lots of machine guns. Panzer gunner is now arriving. He's got a pack as well. In that sense, he's definitely looking a bit better up, whereas we did see that Siberian suffered quite heavily all of a sudden, losing the scout car and the Guards infantry squad. That's definitely a blow he's not going to be recovering from right away. We are now in fact seeing the mechanized armor company. I feel that could have been out faster. And of course right now a chance would either be an Su-85 or the Su-76. Su-76 would be quite handy against all the light vehicles with its high rate of fire. Plus of course the artillery would also be handy against infantry and the pack. So I mean he could go for the Su-85, he could also go for a Katyusha, but I think right here an Su-76 or 2 would be the trick. At least my personal thought as well. And of course I suppose this might also be the time to sort of announce that I've decided to run another challenge. There's indeed another Sunday challenge. Decided to start it on a Sunday so there's an entire week instead of on Tuesday. So for next week the Sunday challenge is, probably should have announced it a bit earlier as well, but still, the Sunday assault gun challenge, which means actually using either the Soviets Su-76s, no Su-85s, or as the Germans Stugs, no Panzer Force. Yes, again, either Stugs or Su-76s, depending on what army you're playing. No Panzer Force or Su-85s. I repeat, no Panzer Force or Su-85s. This is about trying to actually forcing you to sort of figure out how to use the Su-76 and Stug a bit more. Perhaps come up with some clever usages of them. So no Panzer 4 or Su-85 to fall back on. That's part of it. So again, and send that in to propagandacaster@gmail.com. and title it Sunday Assault Gun Challenge and your name, same with the replay, so I can actually easily find it in the replay finder. So that's the challenge bit. Again, sorry about for bringing that bit abruptly, but again, some people it's like the last one as well, and I thought it was fun, so figured I'd try this one as well, something a bit different. Anyways, again for Siberian, a few Su-76s I think could prove to be quite handy in the current circumstances. He could then follow up with an Su-85. For Condemnationwing, he needs to break out of this, and of course he's got the scout cars, which could be quite handy and actually supporting harassment movements, in that he baits in with the units sort of taking a point, then when Siberian reacts, he then rushes in the scout cars to quickly punish whatever unit's been sent in to sort of deal with it, because it's likely going to be infantry, and if the scout cars can catch them at the right time, they can really devastate Siberian's infantry. So I would suggest that as a possibility. Of course, you could also consider taking up, but then again, he might be going straight for an elephant, because he's worried that Siberian goes for an Su-85, and of course the elephant certainly can most of the time handle that. So of course already here, we're already seeing some of what you'd call the meta game, and already here there's already a much larger meta game playing out. That is again Su-85 versus elephant, and already Siberian is playing into that. There's no variation, and of course his opponent has already predicted, and of course is going for the biggest counter in that regard he can imagine. Right then, let's try again. There were some slight issues, so I had to go back to this bit. Lost my track. I've already issued the challenge. I think I was talking about the Germans. You know what Condemnation Wing could do again about the scout cars. They can do quite a bit, but also need to be careful with them. If Siberian, baits them into some sort of nasty little trap. Of course, he's not likely going to go any farther again if he's thinking again, and this is sort of the metagame bit. I'm again not sure if it can. That's sort of the problem when sometimes you have to do all of this. Problems arise. You can actually lose track of what you were saying when you actually have to jump back to an earlier point where there weren't problems. So that's slightly awkward for me. Either way, though, there seems to be sort of metagame running again. H-35, so being going for that because that's the safest choice. But already, his opponent has already seen out the counter there, and that of course is going to be the Jaeger armor with the Elephant tank destroyer. So in that sense, I mean, Siberian needs to be careful. Of course, with the F-76, if he went for that and threw Condemnation Wings off, he might have a chance. But let's return to the fight before anything goes further silly for me. My apologies again if this ended up being a slightly mixed up mid-game analysis, and I've already repeated myself. Most sincerely apologizing. Mild action up there. Looks like Siberians are going to be launching a central assault. MG-40 providing nearby fire support. A building is also getting blasted by the Panzerabwehrkanone. Half-track being rushed over there with very little support. Not really. The half-track's pretty much rubbish on its own. It's really pretty much just a glorified truck because the machine guns do so very, very little. So that's not really a good move there for Condemnation Wings. He needed the scout cars over there, but they're not. Panzer is doing what they can to hold out there. Half-track pulling away. Pioneers now with mines, but of course he's seen the mine, so he knows that Siberian is laying down mines. In fact, that's the only mine though, which is a bit of the sad part. Hitting the dirt left and right. And there we go, scout car moving up, and there we go. Immediately forcing the conscripts to retreat. Due to the sheer volume of machine gun fire they can deliver with their leichte Mechanized. A leichte Passagierwagen. And there we go, the house collapsed. Conscripts continuing to hit the dirt.
Forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Conscripts versus Grenadiers. And an H-85 on the way, as expected. Another light machine gun in here with the conscripts up close. And there we go, hitting dirt, making them a bit harder to deal with even then this close. To an MG-42, they are going to be a bit of trouble. Veteran T2 combat is nearby supporting as well. But another Grenadier squad with another light machine gun also moving up. And there we go, the engineers took quite a thrashing on ultimate force away. And there we go, Veterans Fleet Grenadiers with a light machine gun. That's definitely bad news for the Soviets. That's going to be a much more accurate. And there we go, at the same time the H-85 arrives. Going to be hunting down things. Of course, at the current moment it's actually going to be limited in effectiveness since, well, there's not really a lot of armor for it to really seriously deal with now the vehicles. But even then, I mean, that might be a bit overkill calling in that for dealing with it. So it's rather going to have a limited impact at the moment. It's certainly going to force Condemnation Wing to be a bit more careful with his vehicles, but that's about it. And a Veterans Fleet conscript squad over here causing problems. Scout car's going to deal with that. Of course, they know they don't want to be here anyway, since there's an H-85 pretty much ready to blow them up.
Engineer standing by. You need engineers.
Condemnation is moving up. A second pack. Condemnation Wing's clearly not taking any chances. Again, he's very likely then going for the Elephant tank, so in that case he's actually buffing up there on anti-tank guns to help deal with that. Snipers on the way, looks like. Siberian is going to try and clear out his opponent using snipers. Mines being swept away. Of course, you would also try going for the howitzer instead, and actually try to blast Condemnation Wings out of its positions. That could actually have worked. It certainly proved to be very devastating if handled correctly. And scout cars holding up the flank as conscripts are moving ahead. And already lots being inflicted. Sturmovik ready. Scout cars keeping the flank secure. 2 anti-tank grenades, but it's still standing. Good lord. And there we go, Veteran G2, but it's not really going to survive another shot. And there we go, trying to flank the position right here. Half-track needs to pull back. And there we go, conscripts moving in, flanking the pack 40, going to allow the H-85 to advance. And there we go, Molotov lighting the gunners on fire. Conscripts continue to take intense fire. At the same time, we also see here that Condemnation Wings is actually moving up small force to take away territory there. Well done, well played. And H-85 coming under fire from another pack 40, of course. Knock that off. I told it to turn off other events, but for some reason it just still pops up with those things. Bloody well annoying. And there we go, the arrival of the Soviet sniper team. Both scout cars are going to need repairs, and let's pop back to Condemnation Wings and the 23rd Panzer Division. Getting a bit closer to the elephant, in fact. Give or take 2 to 3 minutes, you can actually get it out. In fact, 2 minutes.
Grenadier down! Grenadiers!
Looks like the Grenadiers are going to win, and 2 veterans with 3 Grenadier scores. Looks like he lost once. Nope, he actually got that one still. Thought it was a Pioneer score for some reason. But still, that many Grenadiers with light machine guns and that kind of veterancy is bad news. Riot grenades flying out, and there we go, flamethrower tank bursting into flames. The engineer squad gets wiped out to a man. In fact, even more than that. Things are looking a bit grim for Siberian. He lacks something extra, something additional. The H-85 really isn't providing him with the sort of forte he had hoped for. He needed something like a tank in this situation, or some Su-76s, something that could apply pressure both to the vehicles and the infantry. And the H-85, while certainly quite effective against vehicles and armour, is not quite the sort of thing against infantry to really provide the impetus. It can do alright, but it's not quite there either. Pack gets sorted out again. The barbecue pack by this stage of the fight. Both scout cars are ready again. H-85 is going to repairs. Troops getting rifle grenaded.
Ready.
2 snipers up for Siberian. I think that might be a bit dangerous overkill, since they're not really assault troops. They need something against something that can apply a bit more direct pressure. And there we go, the elephant tank just has arrived. Schwerer Panzerjägerabteilung has dispatched an elephant. There we go. Schwerer Panzerjäger. Organised into their own independent battalions, attached where we're needed. Not the first one with this big of a gun, in fact that was the Nashorn, or Hornisse, which had the same sort of thing but used the chassis of the Hummel, or the same chassis in essence. Other Schwerer Panzerjägerabteilungen also involved the Jagdpanther, but that really didn't see action on the Eastern Front until 1945, and then we're talking about February, so they'll only the last few months that the Jagdpanther see action there. And these conscripts are taking quite a bit of fire from the 2 scout cars. In fact, we end up seeing them retreat in the face of Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers, while the elephant is moving up. Snipers also ready nearby at the front line. And there we go, high velocity 88mm gun firing. In fact, also the, I believe, same gun, in fact, the King Tiger was equipped with. Interestingly enough. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken with another gun, but I'm pretty sure it is. Perhaps. And anti-tank grenade doing a bit of nasty damage there. Condemnation Wings advancing on the flanks. H-85 in desperate need of repairs, but he's got nothing to repair it. That could prove to be an easy target for the elephant. Though so far I can't seem to hit anything. Come on, Heinz. Don't tell me you've been at the schnapps again. And a Gebalde-Ladung here, which killed something but didn't blow up. And there we go, H-85 spotted and dealt with. conscripts on the run. Condemnation wings advancing largely all across the front. All the west flank is now suffering under Soviet counterattack. Snipers doing what they can here, but they're not really going to cut it, in particular now there's nothing covering them. Some say a couple of scout cars rushing in.
You guys, listen to me if you want.
And there we go, communists do arrive, but for now it's a bit too late.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Siberian going all out on the west flank, rushing in for every valuable point.
The enemy has broken our supply lines.
But he lacks something to tame the elephant. Or at least force the rest of its support to go away. These conscripts are definitely not having a nice day. Elephant rolling up slowly. Still not really hitting anything. Then again, it was never very effective against infantry. That was one of the main criticisms against it. Or at least for its predecessor. The Ferdinand is named after its creator, Dr. Ferdinand Porsche, who really loved building really big things. Snipers need to be careful, and already there we go, one down. An attempted rushing straight up the middle road did not work out either. Rather, it looks like Siberian has been locked down by now. And also one MD4 has in fact been recovered. What was lost has now been found by the Wehrmacht. And another H-85, no surprise, but needs to be careful with it, of course. Oh, the elephant actually hit something. Amazing. Snipers continue to do what they can behind the wreckage of an H-85. As the other H-85 rumbles past, a harsh reminder what might happen to it if it's not careful.
We are losing the sector.
Stuka bomb strike could be called in. And there we go, if an axe advances up, needs to be careful, but we do also see a Panzerfaust going off the H-85, making an easy target. And there we go, hit. Elephant fires again, another hit, main gun destroyed, it can't survive much more. And there we go, the H-85 is starting, we're seeing a bombing strike being called in. Can Siberian react in time?
Are securing our territory.
And a conscript squad takes a direct hit, wiped out. The Jericho trumpets signalled the doom of those poor gentlemen. And yes, that sound the Stuka makes as it goes down is known as the Jericho trumpet. Rather fun little name. Or was it the Jericho trumpet? Something with Jericho anyways. Not so strong in aviation history, to be honest. But I know a few things from in there.
Attempting to steal our sector.
Snipers still remaining, but not really achieving as much, I imagine, as Siberian had hoped for. And particularly the half-track pretty much ensures that he does, Condemnation Wings doesn't have to pull back after sniper shots that much. Again, allowing to keep up a much stronger presence. And again, that's rather the advantage, of course, of having the half-track. Or any kind of vehicle that can reinforce the front line. It does mean you don't have to retreat as much as you used to. Another H-85, but considering the previous two, I'm not entirely sure it will have a happy fate either. Scout casting. Oh, veterancy free scout car. Impressive. Also impressive that actually didn't get blown up. But that's something to do with veterancy too. And there we go. SU-85 takes a direct hit from the elephant.
I'm so sick of these Russian assholes.
And there we go. Game over. Siberian realizes the fight is lost and pulls back. A victory for the Reich. A victory as opposed for the meta game where, in that sense, Condemnationwings was a bit of a step ahead or two of Siberian, and the elephant pretty much was ready to lock down. But I also think Siberian rather missed a few vital key points. It was much too slow in moving on from the Special Rifle Command to something else. In that sense, he rather failed to punish Condemnationwings, really take advantage of the fact they might have only had a pack or not even anything at that early stage where they actually had the opportunity and the resources to do so. And the fact the scout cars, they certainly played a vital part there for Condemnationwings. They allowed time to clear up the flanks, punish infantry and other fun things. Half-tax rolls were definitely helpful in allowing Condemnationwings to maintain the front. I think though Siberian, while he had the advantage, he never pushed it. He never laid down mines, he never tried to make it difficult for Condemnationwings to push back, and that was definitely a mistake. I also think the snipers were not quite as helpful either, and he might even have considered moving straight on to support weapon company and getting some field guns instead. I mean, some possibilities there he should have gone for instead of what actually happened. But overall, well played by the two knights. Aggressive play on many senses, but ultimately, though, Condemnationwings did have the overall better strategy with the scout cast, with the half-track, with the infantry and the elephant, and overall overcame. So, hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe? Tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay video and provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.